Okay, so tonight I'm here with my friend Jimmy Santiago Flores. He's a great guy. He's a musician. He's been guitar tech of big names in the music industry, including nonetheless Suicidal Tendencies and Infectious Grooves and some other big names in the music industry. He's also played with different bands. He's been founder of Explicit Fate back in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. And right now he's playing also writing music and working with Sicarios De Musica. So, Jimmy, thank you very much for accepting my invitation tonight. How's everything going, man?
Well, thanks for having me. Everything's going good. Visiting family in these holiday times.
Yeah, sure. Great. Jimmy, how did your journey in music begin?
Well, my father was a well-known drummer in Phoenix, so his band practiced in our front room, so it's hard to get away from it. And then going to his gigs on the weekends, so I was always a part of being in the band.
So basically, being around around your dad, listening his to his gigs, that drew you to playing and working in music, or
Yeah, but I was kind of a late starter. You know, my sister, both my little brothers, they're established musicians. My little brothers are drummers. My sister's piano player, can play all the woodwind instruments. And I was just getting in trouble and playing sports. And then I didn't pick up guitar until I was in my 20s. You know,
oh,
I was a late starter, and then it just came naturally.
why the guitar, Jimmy?
I I have to blame that on Metallica.
Really?
Yeah, those heavy metal bands really hit me. I just liked the sound of it. It was hard to play. Not everybody could play it,
Yeah.
and it was interesting.
Did you get any formal training with the instrument, or did you just pick everything naturally over time, being surrounded by a family of musicians?
I've had a few lessons here and there, but mostly it's by ear, like you play as well. And once you have a good ear, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is a little bit easier than
It's funny.
reading music or whatever.
It's funny that you mentioned because right here in Colombia, when I started with the music and the guitar, basically most of the people here, because of the region, the city, the culture, they listen to salsa, they listen to popular music here in Colombia, music in Spanish, nothing like metal or rock or whatever. And even though back then I had some influences that helped me to get a hold and love for the guitar and the metal, the rock music. Up there in the United States is way different. Although you're from Mexican heritage, right?
Yeah.
Uh, how did that influence the fact that you were basically moved to write and play metal, hardcore, and such things, and not other kinds of music? How does it work?
Um, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It just happens. But I like playing like classical guitar as well, and incorporating that with metal, and it just works on some parts, and some parts it doesn't. You know, separating the two, playing soft rock, hard rock. It just comes when it comes.
You mentioned you wanted to play Metallica, right?
Yeah, I pretty much learned how to play along with them. 'Cause
And other than that, your biggest musical influences while you were growing up, any?
probably Jimi Hendrix, Thin Lizzy for sure. The old school rock bands.
How
You
was
know,
how was the music scene back then
what year?
when you were a kid, when you were young, you were starting to
Oh,
get.
there was a lot of Steely Dan out, Boston. Yeah, everybody, REO, everybody's coming out, all the old school rockers, Blue Oyster Cult. That was like a whole nother genre. Like things went up a notch in the guitar world, as you know.
What was your first gig? I
My
mean,
first,
yeah, well, not you playing, but the first concert you attended.
My first concert was Cool in the Gang.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And opening up was a dude named Michael Henderson. And it was pretty cool in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow. So
It was
you,
pretty cool because they played on a stage that was round, and it went in a circle. And to this day, boggles my mind how the hell don't the wires get tangled? You know,
yeah.
so I never figured that out. But anyways,
So you started with Cool and the Gang. Wanted to play Metallica. When do other bands come like to the scene? Because over there is in back then I think it was way easier than it is here in Colombia, or than it was here in Colombia, to go watch a band. Let's say the first big band that I ever went to a concert here in Colombia was Guns N' Roses, and that was back in 1994. I think it was 93. But other than that, it was so freaking hard to get real bands, good bands coming here and being exposed to the music. Over there in the States is way different. You basically, you're where the music is born. So other than that, let's say you mentioned Cool and the Gang. What other how was the exposure to the music when you were a child, when you were a kid, and growing up? How
well,
did that work, and how did that influence you as a
well,
music?
it's got to go back to my dad's bands. He played in several bands. Him and my Theo played together, and they played all the old school like Tower Power. They worked with Tower Power, Rufus Thomas, War, all those classic Chicano bands. You know that was my main flavor right there, and I just grew to like heavy metal out of that. Out of that
So you get the guitar when you're 20, right?
20 something. Yeah,
What kind of guitar was that?
it was Jackson Charvel that my sister bought me.
Okay.
Yeah, she knew how bad I wanted to play guitar, and she said, "All right." One day she bought it for my birthday.
And
The guitar I wanted forever, and she bought it for me.
how was that experience with your first guitar? Did you already have?
Oh, I wish I would have never got rid of that thing. That thing's a gem. That was my favorite. I had it for years and years. But it was tired. It needed a new neck. You know.
Do you get some friends to play with, or
Right now?
no, back then when you were 20, you got the guitar and you were like, oh, great.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's how Explicit Fate was formed.
Oh,
You know?
okay, so
Yeah, me
Explicit
and
Fate.
Bear, me and Bear, in this front room in Point Loma, San Diego. We basically both learned how to play. We're like, you want to play guitar or you want to play bass? He goes, I'll play bass. I said, all right, I'll play guitar. So we both learned together, playing along with metal CDs. And he basically turned me on to Slayer, all these heavy metal bands. And then we formed Explicit Fate.
Explicit Fate, when you formed the band, so that was your first band.
Yeah.
Did you
You
start?
can
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, did you start by playing covering songs, or
Yeah,
did
of
you start
course, of
already
course. Yeah.
writing your own music?
Now we started playing covers. Then
Oh,
we started writing our own shit.
how was the scene back then for you as a new
It was
band, as a
cool
whole?
because metal was on the front. It was on the forefront. It was quite the change. From getting out of the grunge era. And then the metal's coming back. Then Korn changed it, and now we got the Bay Area thrash metal back in action. Everything kind of like came full circle. Minus the grunge.
So we're talking about that's early 90s, right?
Yeah,
And it was San Diego, or you were in San Diego back then?
San Diego. Yeah.
Okay. How was the local scene?
Oh, it was good. It's thriving. Back then, a lot of San Diego bands were like they would butt heads. It was very high competition, and nowadays, everybody gets along, and camaraderie is there now. So a lot has changed in the San Diego music scene, in my opinion. You know,
how's the process of being a musician, playing the guitar in a band that's starting to grow and everything, and becoming a guitar tech? You Was that on purpose? Was that planned, or how did that happen?
no, it wasn't planned at all. Wasn't planned at all. You kind of have to be a guitar player to be a guitar tech, number one. You know, because you got to know the mechanical fundamentals of the guitar.
Yeah, it's funny
Yeah.
because I know a lot of guys here who are good guitar players, but they don't have a clue on they don't even change the strings on the guitar. So it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting from.
Well, one of my persons that I guitar tech for, his name's Mike Clark from Suicidal. He has what they call acid fingers
Okay.
because of his perspiration.
Yep.
It just like corrodes strings instantly. Like every night, I got to clean this thing, change the strings every day, or they'll be completely black and start corroding.
Holy.
Yeah, I know a few friends that have that acid finger,
Yeah. And
but
and also the weather can affect that.
yeah, but yeah, it's the acidity in the person's perspiration. Not many people know that, but
So how was your beginning as a guitar tech then? How did that work? How
well,
did that happen?
I was working for a band out of San Diego called Sprung Monkey. I started working for them as a guitar tech because they were hitting the road with Slightly Stupid in the beginning, and they say, "Hey Jimmy, you want to come on and be our guitar tech?" I said, "Fuck yeah, why not?" So we did a lot of tours around the states with like Sick of It All and Pennywise and Unwritten Law, all those. There was a Taylor Steele Focus Tours, the movie maker for snowboarding and surfing. But anyways, yeah, I started with Sprung Monkey, and then it just progressed from there.
And that was it.
Now it progressed from there, and then
So
you start getting phone calls. All right, I'll do that. All
so
right, all right.
people start realizing you're good at it, right? So
Yeah.
they they want to work with you. What does it mean to be a guitar tech? What does it really mean? Because you can think, okay, yeah, tune the guitar, get the guitar ready, but what's behind, what's the real deal of being a guitar tech for big bands, for big names?
Uh, the real thing about being a guitar tech is don't fuck up. Excuse my French. You know, you don't last too long in the industry if you fuck up. And you got to know your shit, and you got to be able to handle, the energy of the huge crowds and all that, and maintain your composure. And string breaks, you change it, give it back a song later. You got to be able to do that with all this. You got to block all this confusion around you, and it's not easy to do. In the beginning, it was a little intimidating, but I got used to it, and I got it down to science eventually. And yeah, so it's a huge responsibility. It's a huge responsibility too. You know, very huge responsibility.
You spent over 10 years touring with Suicidal Tendencies and
No,
Infectious Grooves.
almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years, all over the world, right? You basically visited several countries and everything. How's that experience of being on tour with such a band? The experience with the musicians, with the countries you visited, leaving the pressure of having the responsibility of being the guitar tech for the band. How's that experience, man?
The best way I can explain it is it's like living in a movie. It's like really you're in another country every other day or every day on a jet to Finland, come back to Amsterdam in fucking 24 hours. You know, that's why they call it rock and roll. You rock and then you roll. But yeah, Europe, that's like living in a movie. It's like going back in time, all this thousands of year old architecture and stuff, the food, everything's amazing. People, the cultures, you know.
When you started working and touring with them, how long have you been had you been guitar tech before that? Before you started working with and going on tour with Suicidal Tendencies and Infectious
Oh,
Grooves?
a good 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, but you back then before that you went on tour also different places with other bands. No.
Yeah. Different gigs, just here and there, not long tours until one day I get a phone call at midnight. It was Mr. McMeer, and I thought someone was playing a joke on me. He goes, "Hey, is this Jimmy?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, this is Mike Muir." Um, my friend Dave Haney, he was the tour manager at the time. He referred me to Mike, so
Oh, okay.
he told me, "Dave Haney referred you." And I said, "Man, you guys got to quit messing with me. I'm sleeping," and I hung up. I thought it was a joke. They called back, "Hey,
Okay.
you got 5 minutes to answer." And I go, "Is this really Mike?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "All right, what's up?" He goes, "Be over here in Venice Beach at such and such time tomorrow." I said, "All right." The rest is history.
Next day you were there. Did
Yeah,
you
the whole band, interviewed me. I watched them rehearse, and then they had their little meeting. And they said, "Yeah, you're one of us. Ready to go to Australia?" I said, "I haven't got my passport yet, so I missed the first trip to Australia."
what year was that?
Oh God, I don't even remember. Just say 10 years ago.
2000
Yeah,
2000 maybe.
10 years ago.
And
Yeah.
when you got the call from Mike Muir, did you know already some of the band members, or that was
No, like I
very
said,
first time?
my friend Dave Haney, he was the tour manager for Suicidal at the time, and he was leaving the band, and Mike Muir asked him, "Hey, you know any guitar techs and tour managers?" So actually, me and Steve Summers, the singer of Sprung Monkey, we both got hired. Steve got hired for tour manager, and I got hired for guitar tech, stage manager.
What was like it traveling with them and working for them or with them actually, being
Oh, it's
family
incredible.
basically?
It's incredible. It's work. It's work. It's a job. It's a fun job, but
Do you have any
it is work.
memorable stories from the tours, funny experiences on the road, maybe sharing with this guy that you can share with us, of course. I know.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, yeah, I know a lot of
those
stuff.
are classified files.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
What happens on the road stays on the road.
Oh, really? Not,
When I
not.
come visit you, I will have a beer and we'll talk.
Oh, oh man, that makes this interview less interesting, of course, because
Yeah, but
yeah.
seriously, the whole group of guys are great people, and I was blessed to have worked for them, and they taught me quite a bit.
So after that, you still are friends with them after working
Yeah,
with them.
yeah, yeah.
A good relationship.
I don't work with them, no, just friends.
Uh, Going back to your routine as a guitar tech, because that's something that for most musicians can be appealing to not only to be able to play your instrument, but to get to know your instrument in a way in which you can basically do whatever you need with it, and get it ready for whatever you need. um, what was your personal routine or your preparation for big shows with big bands as a guitar tech? Do you have like, okay, I know that I have to do this, like a checklist? I need to stay focused, sharp, and whatever.
Well, one of my secrets was the night before the big gig, I would take all the guitars to my hotel room and change the strings and tune them in peace and quiet. So they were perfect. I wouldn't have to go through that stress changing strings with fucking all this noise going on around me. So that was one of my secrets. I took all the guitars to my room and changed all the strings, stretched them, finally tuned them, and then took them to the gig the day up. I know they're sitting next to me. I know where they're at. You know.
What are some things that maybe people don't realize and don't can't really get a hold of that uh, about being a guitar tech for major band? Things that maybe no you wouldn't even believe this is something that we have to deal with as guitar techs. What could be something that most people don't realize about being a guitar tech for major band?
Um, One thing you have to deal with is family problems. I'm gonna say, we're all a family on the roads, and sometimes things happen, and we all have to work as a unit, as a family, to solve the problem. Because we got work to do. You know, that's what I would say. Just
Did did
gotta.
did this work behind the scenes as a guitar tech shape your perspective on the music industry?
Um, Not really, because I've seen it before many times. Um, I did see a change once the Live Nation took over. Everybody started getting paid a little bit better, and the festivals are well taken care of. Well planned out, and yeah, that's why I've seen a little progression in the productions and everything. The stage, everything's getting modernized. The lighting, everything.
How do you balance life on tour and family? How you balance that?
You don't.
So it's a
You just got to roll with
sacrifice.
the punches.
It's a
Yeah, you
sacrifice.
have to roll with the punches. Everybody misses funerals, birthdays, holidays, whatever. Everybody's gonna miss something
This
because
can
they're on the road doing what you love.
this might sound as a silly question, but is it worth?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. If it's your passion, and I know all these bands that I work for, their passion is playing live, and you can see it in the performance. And that energy just transcends to the people, and it comes right back, and it's just that's a drug that is unsellable.
Yeah. You've got the skills, you've got the experience, you've got the connections. You're still working as a guitar tech as of now.
Occasionally, I've did a few gigs with the band from San Diego called Stretcher.
Yep.
Yeah, they call me a referee now
All
because
right.
I have to keep those kids in charge, keep them in check.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's with Sicarios de Musica? How do you start with this project?
It's called Los Sicarios De
Okay,
Musica.
Los Sicarios de Música.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's the founder
What
of
do you,
this? Are you the founder
me?
or okay? And
Yeah.
and tell us a little bit about the story behind Los Sicarios de Música.
Okay. Well, me and Nacho and Adam, we were jamming, and we didn't have a name for the band, so I'm at home watching TV, and I see this Sicarios movie with this chick. It's a Sicario, or is it, a jefa? And I said, Los Sicarios de Musica. So I took it to practice the next day, and everybody loved it.
Freestyling.
Yeah, yeah, just to run threw the name out there and said, "No, the hit minute music." Yeah, all right. Everybody likes it.
If we were to label the music, Los Sicarios de Música, write and make, what kind of music would you say Los Sicarios de Música, the Música play? What inspires your sound?
It's hard rock metal, in my opinion, a little bit to the touch of punk.
How's the writing process? How does it work?
Well, it starts with me with writing the riff, you know, the choruses, and blah blah blah. Just hitting it with the drummer and the bass
Lyrics
player. Yeah, that's up to the vocalist. And
and
I'm jamming with a really insane female singer right now. Man, her voice is like Stevie Nicks almost. It's like whoa. And it actually makes you play better. When you jam with someone better than you.
How long have you been together so far?
Los Sicarios,
Yep.
a couple years, going on maybe 3 years. But what new lineup now? We have the old lineup. We have a new lineup now.
And how many songs have you written in
I've only written two, and because everybody works, so it's hard for us to all get together. Everybody's all over town. But I've got several projects in my plate right now, so it's gonna take some time, and it's not gonna happen overnight.
Okay, how long before you go live with Los Sicarios de Musica?
I'm shooting for March, like I told you before. I'm shooting for March, maybe 45 minutes set.
You have the set already, the set list, the songs
Yeah,
ready?
we'll have songs written, and we can knock it out and play songs that are already written.
What are your thoughts on the music industry? Ever since the beginnings of Explicit Fate, when you were playing your guitar for the first time, watching your family on working in the music industry, the way it has evolved, if we may, since those times. What are your thoughts on the changes of the music industry?
It's pretty interesting, and what it's going to be in 10 years, who knows? You know,
Do you think the other day I was talking to a friend of mine who's a guitar player for Head Crusher and Internal Suffering. He lives right now. He's living in Austin, Texas, and I was asking if right now he thinks that you can make a living by being a musician. It was like maybe if you go touring the whole year. Do you agree with that?
if you can afford to tour, let me give you a great example of that right there. There's these two guys from France, the Inspector Clouseau, two-man band.
Okay.
They're Suicidal and Black Keys booking agents at one time, and they're on their 10th album right now. 10th album. They have a
Okay.
farm
All right.
in the Basque area of France,
All right.
which I've been there. They raise their own ducks and the vegetables. Everything's organic, and they're on tour right now.
Okay.
Two dudes,
Wow.
and they're great friends of mine, and that goes to show you right there. They started out from ground zero, playing in front of fucking 10 people. Now they're playing in front of thousands.
Do you think that the energy and the culture on in the metal scene have changed over the years
Yes.
in a good or in a bad way?
A little of both. You have your technical, and then you have like your municipal waste, which I love. Those are my bros. Keep the thrash original. And there's a lot of underground thrash bands that people don't know about, and they're keeping it old school thrash. Municipal waste is one of my favorites. And then you get more technical, and then you got your Lamb of God. And then you go more technical, you got Trivium, and so on,
If you right now could tour with any artist or a band in history, who would it and why?
In history.
In history, dead or alive?
That's a tough one. It'd probably be War, the band War.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, Chicano soul music.
Why?
Because when they were out in their heyday, that was a classic time,
Out of the places that you've been to touring throughout the world and everything, what are some of your favorite places?
Obviously, Japan, Australia. I used to live in Amsterdam for a little bit. Amsterdam's nice. Spain, of course. Parts of France, not all.
You need to come to Colombia.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get there. We were close in Peru.
Yeah, well, a little bit, just a little bit. Do you
Yeah,
have?
did you run into Brian
Yeah, from Stretcher.
Stretcher?
Yep. Yeah, well, he said he comes to La Costa a lot, and from time to time to Bogota. But I'm like 6 hours from Bogota and like 12, 14 hours from La Costa, so it's kind of hard. But I
Wow.
told him
So
whenever
you're, are you in the mountains or what?
the coffee zone, kind
Oh,
of
coffee
the
zone.
pretty much like southeast of the country, but
Well, shit,
I,
man, you need to send me some coffee.
yeah, but I told him, and I've told you, whenever you come here, whenever you want to come in and crush here, you're more than welcome to. Mi casa es tu casa.
Órale, pues.
Jimmy, your favorite instrument or gear setup?
My favorite instrument is obviously guitar, but I like the cello too.
Well, no, well,
Cello.
let me rephrase the brand and the model.
Oh,
Let's say I played different kinds of
good thing
guitars,
we're
and I
editing this,
love
right?
Ibanez. I love Ibanez. So, what's your favorite guitar
At the moment or of all time?
all time?
Oh, dude. It's probably gonna have to be Jackson's
Any model in
or
particular,
ESP's.
like the Flying V or Kelly or?
I have a Kelly, as you know, and then I have the regular one. It's about the neck, the shark tooth inlay, and the neck. I like the neck.
And one amp you love and you would have forever?
My LTD, my ESP LTD. That thing's a gem. Yeah.
Jimmy, any other hobbies or interests you have outside music that maybe people might not know about?
Oh, I like reading the Bible. No, no, I'm kidding. I do read, but not every day. Uh, I play frisbee golf every once in a blue moon, but nothing really crazy. No,
If you,
playing my guitar and
yeah,
working.
and freestyling, having fun, and that's it.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. What's one piece of advice you would give to your younger self if you could go back in time? Let's say back just exactly when you were about to start with your first project with Explicit Fate.
What would I say?
Yeah, to your younger self. Right now, if you
I
could
would
go back in
say
time right now, say, hey, come
I would say
on.
rock on, baby. Keep going, rock on.
My friend, any last word or message you would like to share with the listeners, the people who are here with us tonight?
Yeah. I wanted to say something about touring. Everybody think touring is easy.
Not at all.
Only certain people are made for touring. I've seen people get homesick, cry like a little baby, take the Greyhound home or whatever home. So if you're not made for the road, don't do it. We're a special breed. You know who you are.
Yeah.
You
You,
know?
you you told me the other day you were freestyling with some guys trying to write some new music, and
Yeah.
that was not Los Sicarios de Música, right?
No.
How's that working? How's that going?
That's what the female vocalist.
Yep.
She's incredible. Yeah. And then I wrote another heavy song on the Sepultura tip. So that one just came together like done.
And
Yeah.
nice to
It's
be.
like it was like a cross between Sepultura and Killing Joke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gotta listen to that. Jimmy, thank you very much for accepting our invitation tonight. It's been great, very fun listening to your stories, and looking forward to having you in a future episode here of Listen Up with Mike. Have a great night, and thanks for accepting the invitation, man.
Yeah, no worries. And thanks for having me.